So we are getting close to Christmas. We obviously have to make something with pork. And I think this recipe is going to blow your mind. So this, my friends, is a porchetta, and it's going to be that show-stopping dish you're looking for Christmas. Even though it looks like a lot of work, trust me, most of the work just happens inside the oven. And once it slowly roasts for about 5 hours, when you cut into it, you feel that crispy skin, that juicy meat, and it's just perfect. So let's learn how to make this. First up, you gotta source some good quality pork belly. This is a large chunk of meat from the belly section of the pig. This is about 3.5 kilos. It has a good ratio of meat and fat. And you don't need to take the skin off because we're going to roast it with the skin. Just make sure you pat it dry really well, and then we're just going to score the skin. This will help us get a nice pattern on top of the pork when it roasts, and also helps making the skin really nice and crispy. We're not going all the way through the meat, we're just cutting the skin of it. Now we need to roll this into a nice spiral tight log. To do that, we're going to start butterflying this. Make sure you have a really nice and sharp knife. Do not cut all the way through, just slowly start slicing it. As you can see, there's about 1 inch gap on the side which I'm going to leave, but make sure you do not go all the way through, or else you won't be able to roll it and this is not going to turn out great. So now you can see I have butterflied the whole thing. It's connected at one end. Just going to test it out by rolling it really nice and tight. As you can see at one end, a lot of flesh that is actually coming out. So you don't want that. I'm just going to trim that out. You can add it into the porchetta and roll it, or use the excess meat for something else. And now when I roll it, you can see this really nice tight log that has happened, and the skin is just enough to cover just the outside of the porchetta. So that's literally the butchery. That's all you have to do. Now this is a 3.5 kilo pork belly. If you're a big family, that's going to be enough to serve about 10 to 12 people. You can decide how thick you want the slices to be, but you can go much smaller as well. You can start off with a 500 or 1 kilo block of pork belly as well. That should also do. But make sure you remember all the points that I was talking about. Make sure that when you roll it, only the skin actually surface covers the entire thing. Make sure you cut with the grain, because when you serve it, you will cut it across the grain. That makes sure the meat is even more tender. And make sure before you actually go into making a porchetta, make sure your oven is big enough to actually take care of this, because this is going to slowly cook for about 3 to 4 hours. For now, let's just prepare the marination for this, which is also really simple. Now let's start making the marination. We've got some parsley, a whole lot of chopped garlic, some crushed black pepper, some rosemary, zest and juice from 1 orange and 1 lemon. Next, some coarse chili powder, a whole lot of salt, some olive oil, and some apple cider vinegar. Just mix that up, and that's about it. Make sure you apply the marination on the inside, not on top of the skin. We just want the butterflied section to be marinated well with that mixture. Make sure you apply it really well, massage it really well, and spread it across, and be generous with that marination. I'm just going to poke some holes using my knife over here so that the marination gets into the meat. And finally, we just roll it up and keep this ready. As you can see, there's not a lot of marination on the skin side, and you really don't want that. Now I've got some butcher's string over here. You can use any regular jute string if you want, which can tie something really nice and tight. I'm just going to lay them out on my chopping board over here. We're going to start with tying up the center section first. Tie it really nice and tight, and then just keep repeating this across the meat. I'm going to have one string that goes across this just like this, and tie it up really tight. Cut off any of the excess string, and this is ready. A final preparation for the skin, we're just going to pat it dry really nicely, and then sprinkle some salt on it, and that's it. That, my friends, is the prep work you have to do. So that is going to actually marinate in the fridge for about a couple of hours. You can actually keep it overnight as well. Within 2 hours, you can actually start cooking it. If you can marinate it for longer, please go ahead and do that. Remember, tie it really well, because it will try to open up in the oven. So tie it really nice and tight. The end result, what you'll see, is this beautiful roast that we get ready. I can't wait to share this with y'all. So I'm going to let this marinate, and then we'll cut to a few hours later in the oven. The oven, it won't fit in this one. So we're going to use the big oven. Slightly old, has a little marks on it, so don't judge me because of that, but it does the job well. Okay, it's been 2 hours. Now, what do you need to roast this? Make sure you get a deeper pan at the bottom with a grill rack like this on top of it. This is where the porchetta will sit, and it's going to drip a lot of fat because it has so much fat. So that is going to get collected over here. So make sure you keep it away from that. Don't keep it on a flat tray like this. Just do this on a flat tray. The oil is just going to collect in the tray, and that's not going to be a pretty sight. It's going to get really difficult for you to take this off the oven. The oil might spill and hit you, get you burnt. So please be careful of that. Make sure you got a deep tray at the bottom, the rack on top, and then it's good to go. I forgot to roll in the extra meat that I had cut off. I'm just going to marinate it and place it into the tray itself, and then we're just going to roast both of these together. In all, this took me about 4.5 hours to just roast in the oven. Really nice and slowly. It's 5:30 right now. Now I just woke up from a really nice nap. I haven't checked the oven yet, but the whole house smells incredible. So let's do it. I'll be back. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We have to do the crispy test. Oh, God. See, the bottom hasn't become as crispy as I wanted, and the result is just beautiful. Just cut off the strings before you serve it, and that's the recipe, my friends. That's about it. Look at that. And you know how tender this is, and I know it's cooked completely. You can literally just pull this right out of it. I've shared a complete detailed recipe for this in the comments for you guys to try. If you have any doubts while making the video, just comment over here and I'll definitely reply back. I hope you guys have a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Supremely tender, and look at the crunch. Skin becomes so perfect, so crispy. I don't even have to put that much effort into chewing. It's literally just melting in my mouth. So please go try out the recipe. I'm wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas in advance. The detailed recipe is shared in the description for you guys to try. If you have any questions while making it, just hit me up on Instagram. I'll definitely help you guys out. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon. It helps the channel grow. I'm going to enjoy some Christmas dinner, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.